Morbius. Man, this movie was pretty good. There was a guy, his character was Jesus on The Walking Dead. So the spoiler alert, you know, so Andrew Lincoln and Daryl met Jesus, and he was he was kind of elusive, but he was a good guy. They were all good guys, but they didn't know each other. But this is Morbius instead of The Walking Dead. But it's good to go back and watch that. But Morbius, it starts out, and this is spoiler alert, but the superhero, he has a blood disease. So it starts out, he's older, and he's at a cave with a bunch of bats. And these bats, wherever he got them from, he holds his hand out, and all the bats fly by him, but they attack the people he's with. So with a rare disease, they don't really mess with him. Kind of like that guy, Brad Pitt, the movie he was in where he had that disease, and none of these fast zombies wanted to mess with him. But anyway, so it starts out, it goes back to his childhood, and there's a rich kid that gets put in the orphanage for these children with this rare disease. So they become friends, and he shows them the ropes. Well, Morbius he's kind of a genius. So he was able to fix his friend's pump the blood, because he said, hey, we got to get an oil change. Their blood was so bad, instead of dialysis, they had to filter the blood so they would stay alive. So they had to have it done so often. Well, his friend about died. So, he used a paper clip and something else, and he fixed the electronic device just with the knowledge on his head. He just had a knack for figuring out stuff. So they wanted to put him in a gifted school to teach him, and he left his other friend at the orphanage. Well, then later it flips through, and he's grown up, and he's in a lab. And the kid that was the rich kid is funding all his research. So he experiments, and a lot of stuff, what they're doing is unethical. And they've started doing it they did a rat, and it looked like it killed it, and then it was alive. So then he goes on a ship, and he injects himself with an experimental serum that he's mixed with bat DNA, and he just goes crazy. It turns him into this like vampire creature, super strong. And he has a bunch of mercenaries, which, the police and the government don't care about it. But they're kind of wondering, what happened to this guy. And the mercenaries end up knocking his lab assistant out. So he tears all the people up on the ship, and then he jumps overboard. But after he wipes the cameras and the video, so he's different. And he couldn't control the rage and the hunger at first, but he's trying to control it. And his buddy, the benefactor, said, man, I'm dying. You need to give this to me. And he won't. So his buddy had access to the lab. He goes and gets it himself. And he starts killing all these people. And the other guy, Morbius, thinks it's him. So he's like, because he blacked out sometimes, so he couldn't always remember. So they put him in prison, and then his buddy comes and sees him, and he has to walk with a cane because the disease really cripples him and makes him almost cripple. But when they had this serum, they're like super strong. So his buddy visits him in prison, leaves his cane, so now he knows, he knows he took the serum. So the guy's out there just doing what he wants to. His friend, taking people out. So then he has to get out of prison, and he takes the blood, and then he goes and saves, the girlfriend gets bit, and he has to save her, but you don't know what's going to happen to her. So they're trying to rescue her, and he has to go fight. So he's fighting this guy all over the place, his buddy, and the cops are after him trying to figure out what's going on, you know. And then he ends up winning finally. But, and then the girlfriend at the end, she wakes up, so she's even infected now. And it's, another spoiler alert, in the future, there's a guy that comes from the future and he talks about Spider-Man. So, you know, that's after you watch the whole movie and go through the credits, and then it has like a special feature. So, and I believe that's when he showed the girlfriend how she turned. So, you know there could be another movie eventually. So, it's pretty good. I give it out of a 10 for action movie. It's probably an 8.5. It could have been, some parts were a little slow, but it does have action when it's going, you know, and it's a real good movie. Need to check it out. Thank you for watching it movie. Don't forget to subscribe.